So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this fourth lecture of Fifth National Pharmacovigilance Week, organized by ISF College of Pharmacy in association with Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. I would like to welcome our today's invited resource person, Dr. Ray. Dr. R.S. Ray is a well-known figure in Indian pharmacovigilance history to his contribution in various domains regularly. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next 1 hour, Dr. Ray will be highlighting the current improvements, developments, growth, and advances made in the field of pharmacovigilance via PVPI. Before starting the session, I would like to welcome Ray sir and I would like to read out the bio sketch of sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ray is currently serving as scientific assistant at NCC PVPI IPC Ghaziabad, which comes under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. IPC is located at Ghaziabad in NCR. Dr. Ray is a pharmacist by profession. He has done his bachelor's and master's from pharmacology from the prestigious DIPSAR, New Delhi. He has done PhD in neuroscience from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Center for Biomedical Research from University of Delhi. During his research activity, he was awarded SRF Fellowship from ICMR and CSIR. He is also recipient of the DST Serb National Postdoctoral Fellowship at University Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Punjab University, which is again one of the reputed and prestigious institution in the India. He has got vast experience in preclinical experimental pharmacology and clinical pharmacovigilance. He has numerous awards, honors to his credit. He has authored 2 book chapters, 10 international publications in high repute journals. He is also reviewer for international journals of repute and presented his scientific works as poster and presentations in various national and international conferences. Currently, he is working as scientific assistant at National Coordinating Center for PVPI at IPC. And he is actively involved in various CMEs, CEPs, and popularization of pharmaceutical sciences and drug safety activities. With this short bio sketch, now I would like to call upon Ray sir to please share the screen and start the proceedings. The digital dais is yours, sir, and welcome once again, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saurabh, for your kind introduction. So, before getting into the presentation, so I would like to thank the organizers for calling up the students for this wonderful week-long campaign of National Pharmacovigilance Week. I'm sure that most of you must be known and aware of these objectives of this National Pharmacovigilance Week. And before getting into the presentation, so I would like to thank the organizer, especially the principal sir, Professor J.D. Gupta sir, and uh, Dr. R.K. Narang sir, who is my mentor and a senior during my master's days at GitStar, and Dr. Hani and Dr. Saurabh, and with and all my participants who are joined with us today. So, shall I share my presentation, sir?
Yes, sir, please share.
Please.
Sir, not yet shared. Now, yes. Can you go for full screen mode, sir?
Yes. Is it now in full screen, sir?
Uh, uh, yes, sir. Please move the side, sir. We'll see it's moving. Yeah, it's changing, sir. All good, sir. All good. Please.
Okay, sir. So, warm welcome to all the participants, and I know that I am standing between you and the lunch because it's noon, almost noon. So, again, once again, I welcome you all for this presentation. So throughout these presentations, I will be speaking on Pharmacovigilance Program of India and how Pharmacovigilance Program of India is contributing to drug safety in across the country. So, like before getting into actual presentations, I'd like to give a brief introduction about the functions of Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. So we Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission have four main mandates. So the first one is publication of Indian Pharmacopoeia and its addendum, and I hope most of you must be aware of the Indian Pharmacopoeia and have seen this Indian Pharmacopoeia in your libraries. And this is an official book of standards published for drugs marketed and manufactured within the country. And this book set a legal set of standards for maintaining the quality of drugs manufactured in the country. And the second most important activity is producing the Indian Pharmacopoeia reference substances and pharmacopoeial reference substances is nothing but they are fingerprint moieties which acts in order to compare the quality of the drugs produced within the country. And the third most important one is publication of National Formulary of India, which is again a book of standards for rational prescription of medicine. And this book is expected to be as a pocket reference book for the medical professionals, especially pharmacists, physicians and nurses within the healthcare system. And the fourth major one is the pharmacovigilance and material vigilance program of India. Uh, among- yeah, so this is the fourth major one is the pharmacovigilance and material vigilance. And so if you could see that the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission has two main pillars, which is one for the quality of the drugs marketed and manufactured, the other one is safety. The quality and safety goes hand in hand, as you all know that for any marketed products to be successful for the treatment. So now coming to a general question, why do we need drugs? As you all know that drugs have become an integral part of our healthcare system, and we all take drugs for simple ailments like simple common cold, fever, to complex ailments like cancer, or lifestyle diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, etc. So we take these drugs to help us lead a longer and more productive life and overall improve the quality of our life. And it is often that sometimes the drugs may behave otherwise as well. So it is not always expected to have good things. It is also we as a healthcare professional to understand that a drug molecule may have an inherent property which may cause like adverse drug events as well. So therefore, coming to the life cycle of a drug has two stages, both discovery stage as well as the developmental stage. And the discovery stage, you identify a target, and then you find the compounds which works on this target, and then establish concerned pharmacological activity, and following which we select and identified some clinical candidates from those clinical compounds, and then once this discovery stage is completed, it moves on to the developmental stage where the very same candidate drugs were tested in small animals, especially in mice and rats, and even it is extended to primates as well if needed. And then once the the safety studies are tested in small animals, it is being taken into the clinical study, which is human phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And once the drug passes through this clinical trial phase 3, the drug is often entered into the clinical trials or for the public use, clinical trial phase 4 or public use, and which means once after the drug is put on into the public use, the post-marketing surveillance actually takes place. And if you could see that throughout the discovery stage as well as the developmental stage, there is a continuous risk benefit analysis is going on because when you identify a target and when you identify compounds which acts on it, you find hundreds and hundreds of compounds which actually you do it, and then you shortlist and to the active compounds, and then you select few compounds from those clinical candidates, and then during this clinical test trials, the number goes on decrease to 1, 2, 3. And then if you could see, and often many drugs, even after this continuous risk-based analysis, it fails during the phase 1 trial, phase 2 trial, and phase 3 trial as well, and therefore it may not come into the market. And the one which comes into the market, continuously scrutinized during for the safety, efficacy, and quality, and only if the drug shows significant benefit and less risk, only then the drugs will be put on into the market. And looking up at the timeline of the drug development stages, you could see that the discovery stage, which is in vitro, in silico, and to the high throughput screening, it takes approximately 3 to 5 years, followed by experimental pharmacological and toxicology studies, which takes about 2 to 3 years. And after this, once a candidate drug passes through this preclinical stage, this becomes a new chemical entity, NC, and then it is put on into various stages of clinical trials for doing pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics, and toxicology studies. And it takes approximately 3 to 8 years at this stage. And if a drug passes through this clinical trials, then this candidate drug becomes then it's applicable for a new drug application. And this new drug application has to be applied with the drug regulator, with the CDSO for India, Central Drug Standard Control Organization. When the drug controller approves this new drug application, then the drug is put on into the market. And after this, it is expected that as per our drugs and cosmetics act, each and every pharmaceutical industry are bound to do the post-marketing surveillance. Now, as per the Drugs and Cosmetics Act mandates each pharmaceutical industry to do this post-marketing surveillance for everything under the category of new drugs. So the period of new drugs is 4 years. For a period of 4 years, they have to do the periodic safety update report submission, which the initial 6 months for a period of 2 years and annually for a period of the subsequent years. So totally 4 years is absolutely essential to do this post-marketing surveillance, and the acts and rules of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act mandates it. Now, there is an exception that biological products and vaccines needs to be continuously done. A continuous report, periodic safety update report has to be done as long as the drug is in the market. Now, there comes a question: Does does doing a periodic safety update report or doing a post-marketing surveillance for a period of 4 years sufficient? Now, the absolute answer is no. So, therefore, the post-marketing surveillance has to be done throughout the life cycle of the market, and that is where the need for pharmacovigilance comes into the play, and then the timely report. And now, as a layman, as a common man, everybody may think that why does the adverse reactions pop out despite having a so stringent measures taken during this clinical trials and safety studies, animal safety studies done prior to the marketing of the drug? Now, the answer is in these two pictures. If you could see in the left panel, if you could see there is a clear green corridor in which an empty road is there. And in this empty road, if anybody wants to learn a car, you can drive the car without hitting an object or a person or another vehicle. So this is an empty car. So even a learner can drive the car cautiously and without hitting any object. But on the contrary, the right side of the figure, if you could see that there is a busy market where the road is there, and if you know that weekly markets and all those places where roads will be there and the markets will be on the both sides, and driving in that car, even an expert driver would find this extremely difficult. And do you think so that a Formula One driver who is an expert in driving a car will find it easy to drive this car in this busy market? No. So that's where the difference between a clinical trial and the post-marketing surveillance. In clinical trial, the drug has to go to specific patients, limited indication, controlled process, and limited follow-up. Say, for example, if it is for a cancer drug, only patients with cancers are being studied, and they will be having a certain inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria, which involves having multiple disorders and all those things. And they'll be studied in a closed door setup and limited follow-up. They'll be followed up for a period of 6 months or 1 year or so. But then in real life scenario, it just has to pass through multiple factors like age, diet, comorbidity, environment, disease, genetics, and a lot of things comes into the play, which makes the drug absolutely difficult for them to stay in the market for a long time. For example, special populations like pediatrics, geriatrics, and pregnant females were often not tested during the clinical trials, and also in real life scenario, a patient may be having a multiple disorder. And if you see that in an average Indian prescription, 3 to 4 medications will be there. So it states that if a person over 40 years of age and there will be an onset of lifestyle disease, which makes the prescription complex and the polypharmacy comes into the play, which makes the drug-drug interactions, food interactions, and drug environment interactions, a lot of things comes into the play, which makes the occurrence of adverse drug reaction quite easy, and therefore that's the difference between a clinical trial and the post-marketing surveillance. Now, as we all must be knowing that there was a thalidomide disaster prior to the pharmacovigilance regulations which have been into place. But then at this point, thalidomide taught us a significant lessons in the area of pharmacovigilance that each and every drug which has to be put on into the market has to go adequate testing, which is now being done as a part of the preclinical studies and the clinical trials. And earlier there was no the government regulations of medicine. Now, because we have a Drugs and Cosmetics Act in the place, and they have the new Drugs and Clinical Trials Act, and they have Schedule M, and which makes it mandatory to do this continuous analysis of the post-marketing surveillance. And this thalidomide disaster, taught us that we should have a system to identify adverse effects of medicine, which led to the current system of reporting of adverse reactions. It's spontaneous and purely voluntary in nature, and this is by far being used across the globe. And voluntary spontaneous system is there, and unless we do for a specific cohort studies or so, which needs approval from the clinical trial, and then the reporting becomes mandatory. And also, avoidance of unnecessary use of medicines during pregnancy, and that some risks maybe can be successfully minimized. And as you all know that there are a lot of drugs, lot of problems with the drugs, which is known as allergy, drug misuse, non-adherence, drug interactions, drug withdrawal, treatment failure, adverse drug reactions, adverse events, supratherapeutic dose, subtherapeutic dose. A lot of things comes into the play, which makes as it is important to do this pharmacovigilance. And now coming to a small revision of the basics, as you all know that all drugs carry the potential to produce both desirable and undesirable effects, and no drug is absolutely safe under all circumstances of use or in all patients. And ADR may occur even if a drug is correctly selected and dosed. And each and every excipient have their own differences in metabolic rate and genetic variations among patients when administered, ending up with either positive effects or adverse drug reactions. And therefore, as a healthcare professionals, it is everyone's responsibility to report adverse drug reactions, and health regulatory authorities monitor the risk, benefits outweighing the risk. And so, coming to a general question, if anybody asks you that is there any drug known as safe, no? The absolute answer will be no. There is no such thing as a safe drug, and there are intrusions into there are risks in any intrusion into the human body, whether chemical or surgical, and that is the reason. And if you could see that many people even drink different kinds of water, and I hope most of you must be knowing that Virat Kohli is consuming a black water, and Nita Ambani is taking a different kind of water, and some people take a Bisleri water, some people take RO water, some people take tap water, and each of this water may have different activities and different benefits. That is why the Virat Kohli is taking such a different water. And therefore, nothing in this field is entirely predictable. So if you could see that paracetamol, which has been used for so long, for more than 150 years, is still experiencing adverse drug reactions from our own Indian context, which I will be showing in the subsequent slide. And which means that nothing in this field is entirely predictable, except that the interactions between the science and the human body may produce surprises at times. And coming to the facts and figures adverse drug reaction, it is among the top 10 causes of mortality. And indeed it's a truism that a chemical entity may not be beneficial unless it does some harm. But then you're taking a medication to cure some ailment, but unfortunately, if the same medication is one of the top 10 causes of mortality, will it be acceptable? The answer will be no. And it is one of the causes of 2 to 7% of hospital admissions in Europe and US, and it occurs in 10 to 20% of 20% of hospitalization. And unfortunately, there is no data available today with this of Indian context. And the expenditure for this ADR treatment it goes up more than 135 billion US dollars. This data is of a 2002 data, and but on the current day, the expenditure must have grown many fold, and therefore ADS represent a silent but persistent pandemic that is ranked as the fifth most frequent cause of death in development countries. And India, if you extrapolate the India numbers, and there is thousands of deaths due to adverse drug reactions. And today, we have our own database with more than 10 lakh adverse events, including medication error. And coming to the definition of pharmacovigilance, it's nothing but signs and activities related to detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention detecting the odd reactions from our population and putting all those odd reactions from across the country at National Coordination Center. We try to analyze, assess, and understand why this is happening, and we find the ways to control and to prevent it, and so that unnecessary harm is not being harmed to the patients and society. And this pharmacovigilance program of India was earlier started in India, formally started way back in 1986. But unfortunately, the program took almost 20 years, 20-25 years to pick up. And then this program was launched in the year 2010, changed New Delhi as the National Coordination Center in the year 2010. And then the program was recasted to Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission from 15th April 2011. Since Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission is actually working on the quality of drugs, so therefore, safety of looking up the safety of the drugs is given as an additional responsibility to look up to the pharmacovigilance program of India. And since then, we are functioning as a national coordination center. And similarly, we have the material vigilance program of India and hemovigilance program of India functioning under the umbrella of PVP and recognizing our continued effort in the area of pharmacovigilance, the WHO bestowed Pharmacovigilance Program of India as one of the third WHO collaborating center for pharmacovigilance in public health programs and regulatory services since 2017. And coming to the expansion of pharmacovigilance program of India, if you could see that in 2011 we started with 22 centers, and today we have been ending up with 1,075 ADR monitoring centers with both participation from government as well as the non-government hospitals and the institutions. And we have got a major chunk of PVPI centers in the non-government sector, which is 747 compared to 328 in the government sector. And coming to the tools for reporting adverse drug reactions, we have four main major modalities for reporting adverse drug reactions, which is PVPI, ADR PVPI mobile app, and this toll-free helpline number, and ADR reporting forms and ADR monitoring centers. And toll-free helpline number was earlier available in only English and Hindi, and which was functioning from Monday to Friday. And now 2nd September, we have implemented this with an IVS interactive voice response system, which works functions throughout the 24/7, and anybody with 10 regional languages. So anybody can call it, and they can speak with their own local language as well. Now, also with for the mobile app, we have earlier having only for drugs, and now we have been adding vaccines and medical devices as well to it. And earlier it was only for Android, now it is for Apple iPhone users as well. And for ADR reporting forms, we have two kinds of ADR reporting forms. One for healthcare professionals, which is this red form, and the other one we have a blue form, which is for medicine side effect reporting form specifically targeting consumers in a very layman language. So any layman can also report these adverse drug reactions in their own native vernacular languages. And this form is the medicine side effect reporting form is available in 10 regional languages, and this can be freely downloadable from our website and be uploaded. And as I told in the previous slide that we have 1,075 ADR monitoring centers across the country, and we have reached out to each and every state and UT of the country. And now our next target is to reach out to each and every districts in the state, and then very soon we will accomplish that task as well. And our network of pharmacovigilance is by far the most wide a largest network of pharmacovigilance centers across the globe. And and if you could see that most recently, we have also come across with an ADR monitoring system, adverse drug reaction monitoring system, ADRMS. So this is the mostly the indigenous software kind of thing, which was developed for reporting adverse drug reactions from any nook and corner of the country, like supporting the digital systems, because we are progressing into the digital initiative so far, like unlike other countries, and we have our even our even our villages at every nook and corner are using this digital initiatives for payments and all those things. Therefore, we started this initiative. So, and this ADRMS was launched by the Sri JP Nadda, Honorable Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare last year. And it's almost 1 year, and we have seen significant progress in this ADRMS in reporting of adverse drug reaction. And this is the first India's first medical product safety database tailored to meet the needs of the Indian population. And we also come across with the QR code to report adverse drug reactions in ADRMS. And this poster has been unveiled during the recent inaugural ceremony of the fifth National Pharmacovigilance Week. And this will be one of the tools for each and every person to report adverse drug reaction. And this toll free this toll-free number in the QR code. This was also significantly we are on touch with the Ayushman Bharat and also with the different state drug controllers, and in which the UT of Pondicherry has implemented this significantly so as to put this poster in each and every retail chemist shop and the wholesale shop, so that if any patient who comes across any adverse drug reaction, they can simply scan and report it back to PVC. And but also we are also working with hand in hand with the Gen OCD Center to put up these posters, and therefore very soon this will also be practically available in Gen OCD centers. And coming to the ADR reporting status, if you could see, 2011 we started with 15,729 reports, and right now the last 3 years, if you could see that 2022, 23, 24, we have crossed the 1 lakh benchmark, and now we have a total of over 10 lakh reports into our database. And this is the TVK toll-free helpline number, which is now available in different languages. And it is this toll-free number is not only for reporting adverse drug reactions. You can inquire for Indian pharmacopoeia. You can inquire for details about natural formulary of India and IP reference substances as well. So anybody can call and report any adverse drug reactions for medical device, for drugs, and for all the other activities of Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission as well. And we have also taken several initiatives to put this toll-free number in the OPD cards as well as the prescription, so that if a consumer comes across any adverse drug reaction, they can this will facilitate direct patient reporting of adverse drug reaction, and that will help us reach more timely report to PVPA. And if you could see that since the national implementation of the National Pharmacovigilance Week in 2021, there was a significant increase in the number of reports to the toll-free helpline number as well. And the next question is, what does the each reported drug helps, and where does it go? So if you could see that, so if the patient experiences an adverse drug reaction, he can report directly to PVPI via mobile app, toll-free number, as well as the consumer reporting form. And at the same time, the patient can also report to the healthcare professionals, to the physician, pharmacist, nurse, or anybody, any healthcare professionals, and these healthcare professionals can fill the form, that suspected ADR reporting form, and he or she can send it to the nearest ADR monitoring centers. And then from the ADR monitoring centers, the data will be entered into VisiFlow, and this will come to NCCPVPI. And at the same time, since pharmaceutical industries are also mandated to report adverse drug reaction, all these reports from industry also comes to NCCPVPI. At NCCPVPI, we have separate divisions for quality analysis, for processing, for signal detections, and so all these divisions do their own analysis, and we have several committees as well, which includes working groups, steering committee, signal review panel, quality review panel, core training panel, and among which the signal review panel is the most significant panel, which actually looks upon the case-by-case analysis of each and every adverse drug reaction, and whatever recommendation the signal review panel gives, we send it to the CDSO for regulatory action, and it is the CDSO who takes the regulatory action and then further communicate it to the stakeholders. And as a part of international drug monitoring since 1998, so PDPA also submits all these data to SALA monitoring center. And what are the regulatory actions taken on a reported adverse drug reaction? We upgrade the package inserts, and I think most of you must have seen this package insert, which is there in the with the antibiotics and all those drugs, which has been given a small sheet of paper, which is written in this very small language. We often goes it unnoticed, but this package insert have all those details about its mechanisms, contraindication, adverse effects on all those things. And apart from this, also these regulatory actions include batch recall based on clustering of adverse reactions. So in clinical setup, many times there often experience a clustering of adverse reactions. Often it is directly related to the quality of quality of the product. Say, for example, if a what you say, if a non-sterile preparation is non-sterile, and if it is applied to any patient, if he or she may experience any adverse drug reactions or a lack of efficacy cases. In such a cases, these reports, when it comes to us, we give it to the concerned regulatory authority, state licensing authority, and they will say depute a drug inspector to investigate the case. And after this investigation, if they find that yes, it is of proper impeachment of any quality issue, then the entire batch is recalled, not just from the hospital where it is reported, but also from each and every places wherever the same has been supplied. And also it changes from the classification from over the counter to prescription only, and sometimes it changes the schedules of it as well. And till date, PVPA have issued 182 drug safety alerts and 66 package insert and 16 signals. And if you could see, these drug safety alerts are nothing but these are alerts. These are drug area combinations which when we when we do our continuous analysis from time to time, if we find that our statistical analysis shows a significant association between a drug and an area event, and if the number of reports is less, so what we issue is that we issue the drug safety alert. And this drug safety alert is often issued in our social media and also been circulated to all ADR monitoring centers under PDK. And this is just to solicit more information. So wherever whoever sees this drug safety alert, and it is asked them to cautiously use these drugs among their patients, and if when they cautiously use these drugs among their patients, if they experience to see any adverse event, and it has can be reported back to PVK. And therefore, the number of drug adverse areas events pertaining to this significant drug area combination will significantly increase after the issue of drug safety alert. And this is most important to issue um, to solicit more information. And if you could see that more the data, the more meaningful conclusions we can derive from our own database. So therefore, drug safety alert is one of the major mechanisms where which sensitizes the doctors and healthcare professionals to report more and more adverse events timely. And updating package insert. So in case any in the package a prescription information leaflet or a summary of product characteristics, if there is information if it is not there, and we upon our based on our data, we request the CDSO to incorporate these things in the package insert, and this will be put on in the package insert. And we also identified 16 new signals. And if you could see that these signals are nothing but these are very much new adverse reactions reported for the first time in our own Indian population. And if you could see that maybe sometimes the signals must have been known, but it's either been incompletely documented in the package insert or in other literature or in our scientific literature as well. So what we do is that based on our own indigenous data, which is submitted to PDK, we have identified the 16 new signals, and then when these new signals are being identified, our PDK signal review panel goes through a continuous analysis and they send it back to CDSO for regulatory recommendations. And if you could see that even paracetamol has shown a signal which is a fixed drug eruption, which normally Normally, the paracetamol is considered extremely safe, and then you and me every now and then goes to a chemist and asks for a paracetamol for having a fever. You never go to a doctor for a fever, and that's why he goes to a doctor and take it so easily is that it is considered safe. And it is remember that even for the safer drug, there is always a possibility of occurrence of adverse drug reaction. And apart from that, Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission is also recommends the regulatory action to the AFA Secretariat, who is the nodal body for vaccine. And based on the reports which we received from the radial monitoring centers with respect to Covishield and Covaxin, we have recommended Guillain-Barré syndrome and cerebral palsy to the Covaxin and Covishield, and for which then the very same has been approved by the AFA Secretariat and has been included in the summary of product characteristics of both Covaxin and Covishield as well. And this is a sample drug safety alert, which we generally issue every month. And the quality of report that has been submitted to Uppsala Monitoring Center is significantly high compared to the other countries. If you could see the blue dotted line out of one, the cross is always about 0.8% and we come up beyond distinction. And if you could see the from other countries, it goes about something around zero point 0.4 or zero point 0.5. So it is exactly double the quality of the report which is coming from India. And thanks to the all the ADR monitoring center who was submitting the reports to CVK with such a wonderful quality, and all the coordinators, deputy coordinators, and the pharmacovigilance associates are we are thankful to those people for this quality activity. And apart from this, we are doing a lot of training activities across the country. We do the skill development program on pharmacovigilance. We specifically give need-based training program for marketing authorization holders, interactive meetings for NAB certificated hospitals, for refresher trainings, international trainings, etc. And in the AMCs, we do continuing medical education program or a continuing pharmacy education program, awareness and sensitization programs for healthcare professionals, and advanced level training program only for regional training centers and national pharmacovigilance week celebration for both NCC, AMCs, as well as across the country in all nations, all the healthcare institutions across the country. And we also have regional training centers. We have 12 regional training centers in order to facilitate more and more training programs across the country. And we have conducted more than 11,492 training programs in which more than 7,38,555 people were trained, and the National Pharmacovigilance Week since 2021, we are doing it excellently well. That each and every hospitals, pharmacy institutions, nursing institutions, medical colleges, pharmacy colleges, pharmacy colleges are working it across the country, and we normally have more than 1,000 training programs in this 1 week alone. And this year, with this theme that your safety just a click away report to PVP, this is just to bring out these digital initiatives like ADRMS, ADR mobile app, and toll-free helpline, just to create awareness among the general public that these mechanisms can be used for reporting of adverse drug reactions. And these are the glimpse of the inaugural ceremony of the fifth National Pharmacovigilance Week, which is been held at 17th September at Bharat Mandapam, New Delhi. And these are the glimpse that we have released the PVK short film, and we have maybe problem. Can anyone mute, please? Yeah. This launch of pharmacovigilance comic. This TV comic is just to introduce this TV comic into school level curriculum or a school level initiation, so that even the students and from the school level will have a knowledge of the pharmacovigilance and know the importance of adverse drug reactions, thereby reaching the grassroots level of the society as well. And we have also launched the PVK online reporting form for QR codes. And apart from that, we have different partnerships with different healthcare public health programs like NACO, NDPDC, National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, Indian Medical Association, Immunization Technical Support Unit, Uppsala Monitoring Center, NABH, etc., International Patients Union, etc. So we are working hand in hand with all those organizations to make pharmacovigilance across the country. And each and every recommendations which we generally submit or are also being published in the WHO pharmaceutical newsletter, which acts as a base for other regulatory authorities around the globe to take this as a lead and they can look upon in their own population as well. Apart from that, we also comes across with timely sensitization and awareness posters, and we have different resource materials like annual performance report, PVP handbook, guidance document, quality manual, and every quarter we comes up with newsletter. So it's really downloadable from our website. Anybody can use it, and please circulate it among your fellow colleagues and other friends as well. So we also publish several news awareness posters which are designed just to create awareness on specific topics. And this is the PV comic which we have released during this National Pharmacovigilance Week. And this PV comic is now being in each and every language. And now it is available in 13 regional languages as well. So it's all in our freely downloadable from our website, and anybody can use it for educational purpose and download it and put it, send it on your friends, to your friends and colleagues. And for policy decisions, as you know that earlier, Pharmacy Council of India has been taken several initiatives to put pharmacovigilance as one of the elective subjects in the BPharm final semester. But now in the upcoming, we have been in touch with the Pharmacy Council of India to bring pharmacovigilance and material vigilance and hemovigilance as two different subjects in the curriculum. So for all the BPharm subjects, considering the fact that patient safety is one of the most important and pharmacists one of the most responsible stakeholder in the area of pharmacovigilance, and it has having a very good booming field with the pharmacovigilance, very good career options. So at the end of the day, it must be useful for each and everybody. And similarly, we are also reaching out to NABH accredited hospitals. So NABH during their inspections, they have put pharmacovigilance as one of the indicator, and it is mandated that if a hospital is having a pharmacovigilance setup, they gives an additional points for essential criteria for NABH and National Medical Commission's requirements. And coming to the global pharmacovigilance scenario, we have 182 members, and we have 82 members, and we have been as a full member since 1998, and it covers almost 99% of the world's population. And as I said, recognizing India's effort in the area of pharmacovigilance, India has been bestowed upon as the first WHO collaborating center for pharmacovigilance in public health programs and regulatory services in July 2017, and overall the third WHO collaborating center in the area of pharmacovigilance. And um, uh, coming to the global status, we are now the eighth largest reporter of adverse drug reactions, and very soon we will become surpass Italy, and we will become the seventh largest reporter of adverse drug reactions. And right now, among 182 members, we are the eighth largest reporter, which makes us feel proud that we are the eighth largest reporter of adverse drug reactions. But in short, as you could see, and we should not be extremely proud enough, because India has a population of more than 1.43 billion people, which is one sixth of the world's population. And as you all know, that we are the pharmacy of the world, and we produce a lot of pharmaceutical products, and we export it to various countries as well. And as and now the question comes is, if India is one sixth of the world's population, and which means there are more and more people will be taking medicine, and then if that is the case, are we generating one sixth of the world's safety report? The absolute answer is no. So the responsible healthcare professional, what he does is, in Indian scenario, when a patient reports any experience any adverse drug reaction, he reports it to a healthcare professional, and the healthcare professional gives it proper treatment and then goes on. No, but unfortunately, the healthcare professional or a patient does not report the same to the ADR monitoring center or NCCPVK or CVS, and that contributes to underreporting of adverse drug reaction. And this underreporting of adverse drug reaction not only in prevalent in India, but also in each and every regulatory setup across the globe. And what we find is that we have found several barriers in reporting adverse drug reactions. Many people say that I don't know what to report, all or some, and some say, how will my one report help? And many say that I'm not paid to report adverse drug reaction, and some think that it's an additional administrative burden, and some often feel guilty, and some use this as an off-label use, and a few as a medication error. If it is a medication error, they don't report, and many of us are afraid of legal complications. That is why we have put a specific column in the suspected area reporting form that the patient confidentiality is protected to the fullest extent, and merely reporting an adverse reaction does not contribute to any medical legal issues as well. So we have put it straight away in the ADR reporting form so as to ensure that there will be no legal complications. And many people say that I don't know how to report an adverse reaction. That is why they brought in different ventures like mobile app, toll-free helpline, and ADRMS forms, etc., QR codes, etc. And many people say that I don't know what to report. All are some. And most importantly, what decision says that I don't have time to fill out the adverse reaction reporting form, which is the most common, which we hear it from our ground level. And so the key challenges is underreporting. And what we need to is in order to stratify this problem. So when you stratify this, the most important one for underreporting is non-inclination to report adverse reaction. And people say that don't know where to report and how to report, no incentives to report and no time to report adverse reaction. So we need to find ways for each and every question and then put on initiate our own mechanisms to put on into the strategies to bring in more and more adverse actions to be reported. And coming to the ethical and moral aspects of pharmacovigilance, and what will be happen if there are no regulations? So nobody is going to report, and if nobody is going to report, what will happen to the public trust level? So now, if the regulations is there, so we have a Drugs and Cosmetics Act, we have a Schedule M, we have a New Drugs and Clinical Trials Act 2019. So therefore, when a public comes to know that somebody is doing a watchdog kind of activity in reporting adverse drug reactions, it will boost the public confidence on taking the medicine. They will be double sure that yes, I'm taking the right medication, and our government is taking about significant stringent measures to give us a quality drug. And therefore, report patient safety and reporting of adverse drug reactions is an ethical and moral responsibility. And overall, having a stringent rules will build public trust levels on reporting. And, and over the years, if you could see that we have been targeting much on the healthcare professionals, doctors, physicians, nurses, or pharmacists. But unfortunately, it is not going to work for throughout because we need to hit the target from multiple avenues. Because as patients is the direct receiver of a drug, so we need to empower patients. So that is why we brought up this consumer reporting form, toll-free helpline and the IVRS facilities, OPD cards and putting PDP reporting tools in it and toll-free numbers in it, and ADR PDP mobile app and reporting via ADRMS portal and the QR code-based reporting. And this brings direct patient reports. And when a direct patient report comes, we get more explicit and more detailed ADR information because when only if it comes through the patient, we get the complete data. And otherwise, when it comes under the lens of through the lens of a doctor, he will filter a few things and must probably might we may miss out the crucial information. And most importantly, it gives faster reporting of adverse drug reaction. And so I'm coming towards the end of the slide. So if you could see that in a clinical scenario, surgeons which is a valuable lesson. Like say for example, if a person is having a gallbladder stone, the surgeon immediately says cut it out. And if a person is having a diabetes, for an appendicitis, he just ask, just we will remove it by through surgery. And at the same time, if patient is having a surgery or a clot, and they will do a surgery and remove it out. So when in doubt, cut it out. And in pharmacovigilance terms, when in doubt, fill it out and notify suspicion. And so the take-home message for today is that you need not to be certain to report adverse drug reaction. What you should have is a high degree of suspicion and report any suspected adverse drug reaction and be a lifesaver. And so this is the schedule for the forthcoming skill development program. Our forthcoming skill development program is scheduled from 10 to 14th November. So you please visit our website and simply you can apply for it. And if you are interested, and please circulate it among your fellow friends and colleagues as well. So with this, I end my presentations here. So I request each and every one of us to join hands with PVP to promote safety. And I once again I thank the organizers and all my fellow participants who have been patiently hearing all through this um, uh, uh, time for in the interest of patient safety. And as a patient safety ambassador, you and we all have to work towards the reporting of and encourage people to report adverse drug reaction and ultimately for patient. And if you have any queries, please, I'm so happy to speak on it, and you can please ask any questions. Thank you so much all for your patience. Over to you, sir.
Sir, splendid talk. As always, sir, every time splendid talk as we have heard you on various platforms in past also. So my colleague Dr. Madhav Dwivedi was noting now each and everything, and he was just surprised to see the quality of the articulation and framing all the slides. So now I would like to call Dr. Madhav Dwivedi sir for summarizing the session. Before it, if any questions are there, audience may write in the chat box, and one by one we will take the questions. So if any questions are there, I can see only, sir, thanksgiving, expression of gratitude from all the participants. And since it is Sunday, in spite of it, they will you will not come be coming be in the lunch. But
Uh,
definitely session was great, sir. And we are getting some thanks note only. So no such questions. Now over to Dr. Madhav Dwivedi, sir, for the summary of the lecture.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Saurabh Professor, for this opportunity. I also thank you, our worthy principal sir, Dr. D.D. Gupta, and thank you, Dr. Ray sir, for this tremendous and wonderful sessions. I want to summarize, official summarize of your presentation, sir. It was very good. First, sir, you explained what are the Indian pharmacopoeial addendums like NFI, Pharmacovigilance Program of India, and Material Vigilance Program of India. Then you will very clearly explain the life cycle of the drug discovery, like in preclinical and clinical trials, and then after you very clearly explain the what how and how working the pharmacovigilance program of India to identify the adverse drug reaction, and you given the data that was very good for us that in 2011 only 22 the centers were there, and now we have 10,075 centers are presently we have. Then you have explained, sir, very wonderfully that a adverse drug reaction monitoring system, and you also given the very good for our audience like QR code that we can that everyone can report the ADR to the PVPI. And sir, you have reported various in 2000 very updated data. It is 6,107 ADRs in 2025. That is very wonderful progress from your side, and everyone is working, sir. That is very nice. And you also explained about the data flow of the PVPI in a very clear and very coherent manner, sir. And then after regulatory actions, that whatever the ADR reporting we have, everyone is sending to PVPI, how that particular reports can be regulatorily controlled and give the proper decisions to reduce the adverse drug reaction and taken decisions. And you very one data one thing I was 16 drug signals you have identified, and 182 drug safety alerts we have, and 66 update on package inserts. These are the outcomes you have very clearly explained, sir. And you have one thing I am observing on the behalf of our sir that PVPI have a various MOUs like NABH and NACO program and National Tubercular Elimination programs and worldwide globally. It is very good, and NABH that is also we are from the pharmacy practice department, sir, and this will be the very good things. And ultimately you have tell what are the barriers of the ADRs. Then you also explained how it can overcome the barriers, sir. Definitely, thank you for this wonderful session, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Over to Saurabh, sir.
Yes, sir, no such questions and wonderful explanation. I will convey the regards on behalf of IQAC Department of Pharmacy Practice, Director sir, Principal sir, Professor G.D. Gupta sir, Dr. R.K. Narang sir. Once again, sir, I would like to thank you for joining this session and taking time from your really busy schedule. I know pharmacovigilance week is going on every day, every hour. You're getting several calls for this noble cause. So thank you so much, sir. Best of luck and keep shining and keep educating all of us and updates regarding pharmacovigilance. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you so much. Thank you.